So Adele, let me
Be Adele for a minute.
So I thought while we wait here
Yeah.
and wait for your stuff to upload,
Yeah.
I thought why don't we continue the conversation that we had
Yeah.
just then? Because I feel like that was its own podcast,
Right?
and I'm gonna continue because I feel like it's important for people to hear.
Yeah.
We were talking about, along with the mental masturbation theme. If you haven't heard that, you should go and hear it.
Keeping Up with Khalid. It's the episode where he's interviewing me.
I'm plugging myself.
I'm plugging you in. It's Keeping Up with Khalid, episode with Life with Adele.
I've taught her well.
It was
I've
fire
taught her well.
content. Fire.
I've taught her well.
Because those mental masturbators are everywhere.
I've taught her to give herself a plug, and I've taught her to even give me plugs now. So
That's the
it's
vibe.
working. Abundance.
That's how you do it. You plant those seeds.
Exactly. But we're talking about how people regurgitate information these days and throw these words around. We just did something on manifestation.
Exactly.
And how everybody's just talking about, I've manifested this, I've done this, and I've done that. And I just want to say how overused a lot of these terms are and how underperformed they are. So when we talk about underperformance, it's like, it's not the one that you're thinking about. It's the...
But it does translate into many aspects of your life.
Exactly. It can. And the thing is, it's like everybody talks a big game these days. And
Talk is cheap.
talk is cheap.
So
right?
easy.
And you're only as good as the person that you are today.
Yeah.
You can't sit there and always sit on your accolades all the time and say, like, I used to do this and I'm good at this. And, you know, before I used to blah, 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 blah. And it's like, that doesn't show anything right now.
Nothing.
Unless it's translated to you becoming the person that you are today, and there's value in that, and that you can sit behind those accolades and say, I am the way I am today because of this,
yes.
and I'm actually better now than I was back then. That's something to stand on. But when you start to sit there and bring up the past, but you're only presenting the person that you are today, and that person doesn't seem like the guy that used to win all these medals and have all these girls and do all these things in life.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, one, that's not interesting to me. And that doesn't seem like an accolade. But two, who are you now?
Yeah.
And what are you doing now? And it just bothers me because we do live in this world where it is important, super important to be kind.
Of course.
Kind to ourselves and kind to others. And there's always this mentality of like, we're too hard on ourselves and we need to be softer and we need to be kinder and we need to be, you know, lovely and beautiful and everything like that. But I'm going to switch it up because I think that because of this, people have become, well, people aren't critical enough of themselves.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about, I know that I'm a super critical person, and it translates through the things that I do in life.
Right.
And it translates through how I perceive myself first, and especially the people around me.
Yeah.
And I don't always see it as a negative thing. And I always call myself out on it because I'm like, okay, Khalid, you're being a little bit too critical here. Let it be.
Okay.
Let it be. This is cool. Like, you are doing enough. Don't be super, super fixated on being a perfectionist. And I think that disparity is...
It's a tricky dance between being self-critical and then being a perfectionist.
And it's not healthy to be a perfectionist. And I completely accept in everything that I do that there's a beauty in knowing that you're not going to achieve perfection, but not taking the stance away from trying to achieve that.
Of course.
And trying to be the best that I can be.
Best version of yourself.
Exactly. And try to aim for that perfection, knowing that you're never going to get there.
Right.
But understanding that that process is going to continuously make you a better person, because when you get to a point that you didn't think that you would reach, you actually realize you're like, wow, I've gotten so far, and you set that bar a bit higher.
You need to set high standards for yourself because no one else will unless it's coming out of you. So having this high expectation of yourself, you aim for that, and wherever you reach on that spectrum means that it's a work in progress.
Exactly. And then when you finally get there, you're like, okay, now I can pump this bar up.
We always put the bar higher.
Just like we add more weight.
Exactly. Exactly.
We get to the bar, we're like, okay, this used to be really hard, and I used to look forward to wanting to be able to lift this weight one day.
And here we are.
Now we're here. I'm like, but now I'm here. I'm like, okay, I can go a little bit more now.
And setting small attainable goals for yourself. Not climbing Everest, but taking the first step.
Exactly. But going back to being self-critical, I feel like this culture of everybody being super nice and super soft and allowing themselves to give themselves too many excuses.
Too much.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
It's the too much part of it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm gonna take a rest day. You know what? I deserve this. I'm gonna relax today. Yeah, that's cool. It's healthy. It's actually good balance in your life.
Of course.
And then the next day comes and it's like, you know what? I worked really hard last week. I'm just going to chill.
Here's day number 2.
Yeah. And then that's day number 2. And then it's like day number 3. It's like, oh, you know what? I don't really feel like going today. Yeah. I'm going to wait until I feel like going now. And then you continuously bring your own objections.
Of course.
And you don't call yourself out for them.
If you want to find excuses, you can find a million.
Exactly. They're the easiest things.
Easiest.
The hard things to find are the reason, you know, because
definitely
there's 1,000 reasons to stay in bed at 5 in the morning.
100%. Those 5 a.m.
There's 1,000 reasons to stay in bed, but there's probably like 5 that really would be like, okay, I've got to get up. You know? We need to be more critical of ourselves. And we need to demand more from ourselves when it comes to thinking about improving our lives in all aspects.
Yeah.
And what I mean by this is that I hate to see people giving themselves too many excuses. I feel like it's important for all of us to have the vision and have the introspection to be able to identify when it's like, hey, you're letting yourself go now.
But that requires a level of honesty with yourself. And many people cannot be honest with themselves. That's difficult to do.
It's easy to lie to yourself.
It is.
You convince yourself.
And to others as well, because if you're putting that facade up, no one will know because they don't know you. So you can sit and talk all the talk that you want. It's so easy because I don't know anything about you. But then it all begins to come out. The more you get to know someone, you realize they're not even practicing what they preach.
Yeah.
And then that's where you lose that character that you're trying to play.
Exactly.
And all of that comes out. And then the self-criticism, you don't have it. You cannot critique yourself. Maybe it's because you can't take it.
You don't want to face the reality of who you actually are, as opposed to this person that you're presenting to the world. And it brings me to my point of the fact that it's important to have the people around you be accountable and also be critical of you sometimes.
Yes.
In a positive way, in a healthy way. I want to make sure that's clear.
You know, and sometimes in an unhealthy way, because if they're not being able to reach you sometimes, I want someone to slap me across the face and be like, wake up.
Yeah.
That is super important because if you have yes people around you,
then everything's a yes. Take the day off. Oh yeah, don't worry about this. And oh yeah, just eat whatever.
That's dangerous.
It is.
That's going to drag you down.
And sometimes those people are only doing it for their own benefit, you know, because again, going down to the whole toxicity of things, it's like if you're in a toxic environment and you have yes people around you that don't really give a shit about you, they're all going to just say, yeah, do what you want. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's go out. Let's do some drugs. Let's, get wasted. There's all these things that aren't actually beneficial to what your goals are and what their goals are. But sometimes when they're falling, they want to pull you down.
Of course.
With them.
Of course.
Which is why it's so important. And going back to where I started, it's okay to be self-critical. And I call upon everybody to be a little bit self-critical. I'm going to flip the switch and go from, okay, it's important to be kind. It's important to be generous. It's important to be soft and, be empathetic about your life to yourself and others. But at the same time, call the bullshit when you see it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just say it like that. Call out the bullshit when you see it, because in one way or another, if you don't truly agree with the way somebody is, their persona, this is including yourself, by the way. If you don't truly agree with it and you sit there and you do nothing, you are affecting your own energy.
And that means they really don't mean that much to you.
Exactly. And imagine now you're talking about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you know you're living this fucking bullshit life, projecting out a character that isn't real, and you're convincing yourself to believe it, I feel like it's like the biggest lie you could probably put out to the universe.
You need an Oscar.
And the worst thing is, it's not real. And yeah, you can believe your own bullshit as long as you want, but at the end of the day, you will be found out. And there will be an emptiness inside of you because you're living a lie, essentially. And who wants to do that?
No.
Allow yourself to be a little bit self-critical in that moment and say, like, you know what, I want to be this person, and now I'm making a commitment to do everything that I can within my power to become this person. That's okay.
Yeah.
Because you've identified what you're lacking. You've been self-critical enough to motivate you to become what you want to be, as opposed to projecting bullshit and lying to everybody, including yourself. And how long are you going to keep that facade on?
You can't. It's unsustainable.
Exactly.
It really is. My question though, Khaled, is let's say you are that one person in your friendship group that's calling you out and telling you, but are you being receptive to that? Because there's also this taking in, like, are you going to comprehend what I'm saying? Yeah. Because if you're not,
my walls up, if I'm a proud person, I'm going to be like,
yeah. And then that's going to turn me off from ever wanting to talk to you or give you that reality check, because I'm telling this to you over and over again, but I'm getting the same behaviors over and over again. So then the people around you begin to kind of give up on you. And they're just kind of like, this person isn't even ready for this. And unfortunately, whether it's self-critical or someone else criticizing you, it's not up until you're against that wall that you feel like you need to change. It's not before that. No. Most people will wait until they're at their breaking point.
Exactly.
And it's like almost too late to undo all the damage that you're doing to yourself and the people around you, simply because you weren't ready to listen before that. People who have been trying, or your own conscience that's been trying to tell you, hello, we're here.
This isn't good.
And we're just like, nope, silencing that.
I think receiving criticism is as important as being self-critical, and it's one of the hardest things to do. And with a lot of the footballers that I work with, or athletes that I work with, you need to be very wary of how you criticize somebody for what they're doing, because initially the first reaction, the human reaction or the human response to criticism is to be defensive.
Of course.
Because nobody wants to believe that what they're doing is wrong, or that they can be doing it better. So it's how you relay this information. And again, if it's somebody in my circle, then it's somebody that I trust. And that essentially is why it's so important to have the people in your circle that you put your whole faith in them, you put your whole sort of way of thinking and your beliefs, and you're transparent with everything that you are and the person that you are. And you're not making this facade of a person that they're now seeing. This is who you are. This is your pure, genuine self. And when they see something that they can be critical of, they have the right approach to it. And this also goes to...
because they know you well enough.
Exactly. And they know your bullshit and they know what's real. Khaled, this isn't you, bro. This isn't you. So why are you doing this? Okay. Maybe that's not the approach. Maybe it is the approach. But irrespective of that, you know me well enough how to approach me, and I trust you enough because I know you're only looking out for me.
Yeah.
And again, when we talk about these things, I just want to make it clear. Think of yourself first and think of how you approach your own criticism towards yourself. Do you say, fuck, you're an idiot? Why did you do that? Well, you're not good enough. You could have done this better.
That's negative self-talk, degrading yourself.
Exactly.
No, the way that you would give it to someone else, give it to yourself.
Exactly. And I think that's where people, you don't realize that, man, I'm so kind to everyone else and I'm so thoughtful and I'm always trying to consider their situation.
And their feelings.
So consider your own feelings when you are being self-critical.
Yeah.
But at the same time, don't shy away
from being
self-critical. Because I feel like it's one of the imperative factors that is going to allow you to step out of that person and that shell that you don't want to be and move you into that right lane and the correct lane of where you want to head. So anyway, I just had to get that off my chest.
I like that. It's like a venting session.
Yeah. But essentially, being in your own purest form falls within who you are as a person, organically through the people that are around you and through your own actions. So if you're not consistently and constantly working on these things, reflecting on these things, introspecting on these things, don't expect to be that person that you're pretending to be.
Yeah.
Live it, breathe it, act upon it, and it will come to fruition.
True.
Anyway, let's
Word.
I'm heated, man.
Oh man, he's really passionate about this, guys. I can feel the passion. The energy is palpable.
That's it. But again, I'm gonna give Adele a plug.
Oh.
Life with Adele. Catch her on Spill the Matcha, YouTube, Spotify. Find me, Instagram, Ali Burkers Khalid. I remembered my Instagram this time.
Thank goodness for that.
Thank goodness. YouTube, Spotify, Keeping Up with Khalid. Until next time, guys, peace and love you all.
Yes.